CQ RAYNET. This is Golf 4, November Romeo Charlie, operated today by Greg, Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo, serving as net control for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communications. The primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic news, opinions and information with additional information on the RAYNET-UK website at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls are to be made to the net control station unless you are instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name, and if you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, then please make it clear you want to check out at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll repeat what I've heard, and if you're not acknowledged, then please do try again, and if you miss your turn to call in, I will call for any strays at the end of the UK and international sections. So as usual, I'll start taking check-ins to the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net in call sign number order, so any stations with a figure 9 in their call wishing to check in, please call now. This is G4NRC, over. I'll see, second call, any stations figure 9, go ahead, over. I'll see, nothing heard, so that's our 8, stations figure 8 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf 8 Echo Yankee, G8 EEY, name is Mike.
Eight Echo Yankee, good afternoon, Mike. Any other 8s, please? G4NRC, over. See, nothing heard, so let's have 7s. Stations figure 7 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, G798. Good afternoon, Greg.
Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, good afternoon, Graham. Any other 7s, please? G4NRC, over. See, then we'll have 6s. Stations figure 6 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Good afternoon, this is Golf 6 Papa Delta Echo, Chris in Ipswich. In and out, please, Greg.
Papa Delta Echo, good afternoon, Chris, and copy to you in and out. Any other 6s, please? G4NRC, over. See, nothing heard, so let's have 5s. Stations figure 5 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. RNRC, we don't have many 5s in the organisation, so I'll jump straight down to 4s. Stations figure 4 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ. Good afternoon, Greg. Trevor in Watford. Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, Philip, South Sussex.
G4XUR, Golf 4 X-Ray Uniform Romeo, David in Somerset. Good afternoon, Greg. Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, G4HUF, Phil. G4 NRC. So I've got Trevor, G4KUJ, Philip, G4KIL, David, G4XUR, and Phil, G4HUF. Any other fours, please? G4 NRC, over. So let's move to threes. Stations figure 3 and their call sign, please go ahead. G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, second call, any stations figure 3 and their call sign, please go ahead, over. NRC, no threes, let's go for twos. Stations figure 2 in their call sign, and that includes you intermediate twos. Please call now, over. NRC, second call, any stations figure 2 in their call sign, including the intermediate twos. Please call now, over. Nothing heard, let's have ones. The stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. G4 NRC, second call, any stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. G4 NRC, then it's going to be Mike Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier. Please call now, over.
Mike Zero, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, Drew, in Devon.
Mike Zero, Whiskey X-Ray Golf for Shirley, also in Cornwall, in and out. Great, thank you.
For NRC, I think we had some clashing on the bridge there between Brandmeister and the RAYNET-UK service. So Drew, Mike Zero, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, I've got you in the log, staying with me. And Shirley, hello to you again. Mike Zero, Mike Zero, Whiskey X-Ray Golf shown as in and out. Any other Mike Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over.
Mike Zero, India Tango, Mike, Andy in Cornwall, also in and out. Thank you, Greg.
Mike Zero, India Tango, Mike, got you that time, Andy, thanks very much, and copied you in and out. We're going to hear both of you back. Okay, let's have Golf Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over. Things broken. Any Golf Zero station of any regional secondary identifier, over? Or NRC, we've not got our usual Andy Tailender. Okay, any UK station who's missed their turn to call in, please call now, over.
Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, name is Stephen, Dame Valley Group.
Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, good afternoon, Stephen. I got you in the log now. Okay, do we have any of our international colleagues on the talk groups today? That's usually Sam Van Stiesten of Norway, Aries in Slovakia, Dares in the Netherlands. Any of our international colleagues, please? G4 NRC, over. NRC, nothing heard, so last call then for any stations, UK or international, who've missed their turn to call in. Please do so now. G4 NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard. Okay, usual reminders. First of all, Graham, G7NEH, is live streaming the net to YouTube today. Past live streams and recordings are available by searching G7NEH, that's Golf 7 November Echo Hotel on YouTube, and search for his past videos or the live broadcast if you want to watch it now. Hitting the like and subscribe buttons is also appreciated so that he knows the service is being used. This is a return of the time-constrained net, so this week and next week I will need to be finished by 16:40 to 16:45 at the latest, so I can get to basketball. Apologies for that, but the season end is getting close. Not getting close, the contractors behind the Emergency Services Airwave Network have been awarded another contract extension to cover the gap sustaining that Tetra network until the new Emergency Services Network, or ESN, finally comes online. That ESN project is now running 12 years behind schedule and is not expected now until 2029, and that's the system that will move all emergency services comms onto primarily 4G and 5G phones. The BBC has confirmed that Radio 4's long-wave transmitters will close this year. Approximately 2 months' notice will apparently be given, and while dedicated listeners will mourn the loss of the service, for us it's the loss of a stable frequency reference and a reminder that in the event of a national power loss, the stations to listen for to confirm status of what's going on in the rest of the country will be radios 2 and 4 on VHF FM. Finally, Ofcom have granted permission to Vodafone to join the Satellite to Handset Club using AST Space Mobile's low Earth orbit satellites in the 900 MHz band. Customer trials are expected to start this summer, although at this time I can't see what costs this will add to tariffs for users. So let's see what thoughts that provokes with everybody, starting with Mike. Golf 8, Echo Yanko Yankee, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from G8EY. All noted, Greg. Yes, 12.8 centigrade here in Norfolk. 1026 millibars. 54% relative humidity and 36% cloud cover. So it's quite warm out in the sunshine, but there is an 8-mile-an-hour breeze from 352 degrees, so it's a bit northerly chilly. Yes, interesting. Radio 4 long wave going. And also, I thought the government was intent on getting rid of FM radio stations and going over to DAB. Oh well, I'm sure they'll make their minds up eventually. 2029. Well, it's a bit of a long way off for me to worry about that at the moment. Otherwise, still one or two people having fun with the email migration, but I keep putting them in touch with migration. I discovered that Google does have an interesting facility that if you put in anything that looks like an email address, it's quite happy. And it's only when you try to send to it that it says, oh no such address. I didn't seem to have that looking outlook, but oh well, it's all a learning curve from G8EY.
8 Echo Yankee, G4 and RC returning. Okay, in reverse order. Yes, I think, and I still haven't got an answer, don't think I've actually asked the question though properly. Google does not have the centralised address book that Office 365 had in the same way, or if it is, it's not enabled yet. So address checking is still going to be done when it finally goes towards send, where any typos will be getting caught out. In terms of the demise of FM radio in favour of DAB, that debate has probably gone on for years. DAB is getting more and more rolled out in things like vehicles, but there is still some pushback to doing away with regular FM, so not sure how that's going at the moment, Mike, because I think governments have come and gone on that, and by governments I mean at least the last two, with no clear FM close down plan. And if they did close it down, what are they going to do with it? Okay, other than that, let's move down to Graham, G7NEH, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, G7NEH. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon to all on the net. Last week's viewing figures were 40 views and 2 likes, and one comment commenting that the bridge for Fusion was down, and that was the only comment. And this week we have had 8 views in total, and there are 3 concurrently viewing at the moment on the YouTube side of things. Not a lot else to add from this end, Greg, so leave me out the next round, and I will no doubt catch you in the week. G4NRC, G7NEH.
G7NEH, G4 and RC returning. Okay, looks like over 30 views might be turning into the new normal, but we don't know what's driving those viewing figures. So, okay, glad that's done. Yes, the Fusion DMR bridge being down, I think one of our own West Cheshire members has commented on that as well. Just need to get hold of Guy and see whether he is progressing with the rewrite of the bridge. I think what he tried to do before with the off-the-shelf software was not behaving nicely, so it was turning into another homebrew project to make it work properly. Yes, we'll catch you in the week, not least of which we have our group net tomorrow. So West Cheshire group net tomorrow is on 2 metres single sideband. Okay, 73's Graham, we'll talk to you soon. Trevor, G4KUJ, G4 and RC, over.
Excuse me, G4 NRC and the group G4KUJ. Yes, good afternoon, Greg, and everybody else. Yes, the ESN saga goes on and on, doesn't it? But it takes me back to the times at the beginning of the project when I represented the voluntary sector on the initial working groups for the voluntary sector, which is some way away now. Been away for the week, so not done any RF work or digital, because staying in a hotel up in North Norfolk, so I didn't take the portable digital gear with me. Now, I have made some progress on my missing news and emails. I went digging eventually, after several conversations with the migration team. I went digging in the spam, which seemed to have quite a high number of entries in there, but I'd ignore them because I thought it's probably not, over the years that we've been using 365, it's probably not unusual. But little did I realise that the vast majority of that spam was generated from within RAYNET-UK. And I've gone through all of the mail there, which included all the RAYNET news sent out on 365. It all seems to have gone wrong as far as I'm concerned around the end of September, beginning of October, and anything from inside the organisation has been flagged as spam. I think there were 44. One was a genuine one. 2 were from outside, and the rest were all internal, including last year's AGM. So, don't know if that gives anyone any clues. On Arden, to Drew, I don't know if you've come across Raven yet, the chat app that Arden have produced. Seems to work pretty well. I've loaded it and it fired up first time. I've had a couple of acknowledgements, one from Bulgaria and one from Turkey, via your link to Bulgaria on your gateway. So back to you, Greg. G4 NRC, G4 KUJ.
KUJ G4 NRC returning. Okay, thanks for that. As you can just see, I've made a mess of the log slightly. So I have not had that same experience on the spam issues for reasons I don't quite know why, but it's not played like that for me at all, Trevor. Everything's been there, so I'm not sure quite why the spam is misbehaving to that degree. But yes, another data point, however, so thanks for taking that to the end. Let's go next to Philip. Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4 NRC, over.
Yeah, G4 NRC, G4 KIL. Let's start with the Google Mail then. I think last week you were asking whether who'd had the newsletters, and I think most of the people, I asked it on our local net the following day, and most people certainly had it, so that sounded quite positive. At the time I said, I found I had it when I realised it hadn't been forwarded. That was odd, because I had set the forwarding and it had cleared it. I had to reset it again. It does seem to be working again now. But it had cleared it for some reason. Also on the Google side, I think I mentioned I was having some slight issues with Google Meet, in that if you set up a meeting well beforehand, so typically for me on a Monday night, I'll set up the meeting for linking in with our 8:30 net. I'll set it up at about 8 o'clock. That gives me a chance to copy the link and send it out. Now, what I think I discovered last week was the timeout is 2 minutes if you're the only one that's on it. So you really have to keep an eye on it for that half hour and keep saying, yes, I'm still here. Otherwise, I think it just logs you off, which is a bit of a pain. Right, the HFNet, interesting. Thank you for your report, by the way, on the HFNet. But I was interested to hear that you had heard me call that other station with the non-RAYNET one. He was really clear to me. I was surprised he didn't get back to me, so it's interesting that you could hear him at that point. It was a bit of a pity he came up on that frequency, because that was until he came up, it was a quite nice clear frequency. So there we go. Interesting the way the dual net proceeded. For me, this coming Tuesday, I hope to make it on. I have discovered this morning there's a bit of a clash with an online sort of meeting. That's slightly earlier. I think I can probably leave it earlier, so I'll probably come on but less prepared or something like that on Tuesday. Now when we get into May, I'm likely not to make it in May. Is it Thursday, Fridays, I think? I can't remember. I probably said last week. So they're not going to be good nights for me, so I'm not likely to be on during May. May also very busy from our point of view with our local group. I think we have I think there are actually 5 Sundays in May, is that right? And I think of those we've got 3 events, and there's also several of us are supporting over in Kent to fill in one of the one missing one. So I think we've got 4 consecutive weeks of events. Shouldn't involve me coming onto this net, I don't think, most of the time, but we'll have to see. Come June, it should be a bit easier. I think it's mainly Sundays, if I remember rightly, sorry, there's my timeout. I hope I'll let you long enough to sort itself. Interesting. I'm in the 23rd or something like that. Well, it must be the one. No, 28th. It must be the one that's 28th. I'm over that weekend. I'm likely to be running a special event station over in Swindon, so hopefully we'll come up with that. So I might come up with a GB call sign for that one. I don't know the call. Somebody else is getting the call sign, so I don't know it at the moment. Very good. Back to you then, Greg. G4RC, G4KL.
G4KL, G4NRC returning. Okay. Excuse me. Thanks for that. unfortunately, I haven't played properly with Google Meet yet. It is a temptation. I have to organise something for my own group over the next couple of weeks, whether or not we default back to the Teams account that groups will still be able to use in the control of their group controllers, or whether it's on Google Meet. Still not too sure which one's going to be my path of least resistance. Okay, let's go next to David. Golf 4, X-Ray Uniform Romeo, G4 and RC, over.
G4XUR, returning the group, good afternoon to you, Greg, and to all the people on the net. All noted on the topics for the for general discussion. Nothing really to add from this station. Our last event was last Saturday, a week Saturday gone. And that was the Steaming to the Coast event. We had 2 UHF repeaters linked on 4 meters, and that covered the 26-mile route, albeit that was a 26-mile run route. It's probably a bit less than that as the steam train goes from one end to the other in Somerset. And 600 runners then start their way back to the point that they got onto the train. But all went well, extremely good radio RF coverage, no problems at all. One of the best, and this is, we're now in our 4th year for this event. So with that, back to you, Greg. Noted it's a time-constrained net this evening, so we'll keep it hopefully short as I can. G4NRC. This is G4XUR, the group.
G4NRC returning. Okay, interesting. Yes, as soon as you started that event name, was it last year you did that using frequency assignment certificates for your repeaters? So I'm guessing this year, since I don't remember seeing a request for them, guessing it was done at under 5 watts CRP. Maybe clarify that on the next round. Okay, yes, do need to keep the rate up. So Phil, G4HUF, G4NRC, over.
This is G4HUF. Good afternoon, all. 2 significant things to comment on with regard to the emails saga. First, and I'm sure you can work out who it is, one member who's not previously had RAYNET email enabled set up his Google account and promptly regretted it because his email inbox for that particular account got swamped. He got 6 months of back news reports and other general emails sent out to everybody. And since he's only got a mobile phone at the moment, it kind of overwhelmed him slightly. So he wasn't happy last Sunday when I saw him. Secondly, the email that you sent me recently, would you believe, came through on the Microsoft setup, and my reply went back the same way, which is bizarre because I had nothing else on Microsoft, just your email. I have finally got around to dealing with my own account, setting it up. It is set up, but it seems as though nothing's happening at the moment, so I've probably done something fundamentally stupid and need to think about it a little bit more carefully. So I'm not panicking about that at the moment, but I found it quite amusing when Rob complained bitterly about 6 months of emails turning up on his phone. And with that, I shall sign out at this point and leave you to try and clear for 16:45. 73's all. This is G4HUF.
G4 and RC returning. Okay, so when you see Rob later, can you express an appropriate amount of sympathy from me? You can read into that as you will. Only 6 months of back news reports. I think it could have gone further back than that. But okay, noted, that will be something that people might need to be aware of. But interested about how stuff is still defaulting back to Microsoft. So the new member inquiry that I forwarded through to you came to Microsoft, which is understandable because the website is still sending through that account. But my response out to you, can't quite remember how that went, but don't know why it didn't, why it seemed to default back to Microsoft rather than going over Google. So some investigation will have to happen for this, or Jim will just have to turn everything off on Office 365 for email and force it one way or another. What worries me then is we'll actually lose mail. Okay, thanks Phil, that's 7 3s to you, and wishes for everybody else on the meal later. 2 to go. Drew, Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, G4 and RC, over.
For RC, 0 MFS. Okay, where to start? Email seems to be working okay for me. I made a strategic decision when sending emails to do it with the Gmail client. That way I seem to get decent lookups and decent chatting of email addresses, etc., etc., etc. I'm still reading them through my consolidated email service, and replies through that route seem to work, but like I said, finding using the Gmail client makes life a bit easier when sending mails to the group. Raven, I had sort of seen it in passing but didn't realise it had got as far as it did, and I will start looking at that because we need to make a chat decision for the LRF project we're working on, which is going to be based on Arden. On the Emergency Services Network, yeah, that's not a surprise. I will actually be surprised if we make 2029 at all, although there is a major POC happening at this year's Notting Hill Carnival, where the plan is that the whole event will be on ESN, so that will be interesting to say the least. Other than that, for this round, I think that's it from M0MFS.
Mike Foxtrot Sierra, G4 and RC returning. Okay, right, I think a couple of things there. Yeah, I'm sending mail through a Thunderbird as an email client, but having set up the SMTP send to be through Gmail. So I kind of know where my stuff should be going from. I shall, when I get my Arden back up and running again, we'll have a look at what Raven does. But ESN, I had a little chuckle here when you said you would be surprised if ESN happens in 2029. Probably agree. Once you get this late, there doesn't seem to be much point in rushing anything anymore. But really surprised, or not surprised, by Notting Hill Carnival being ESN. Given the ESN original design brief was to use 4G, because 5G hadn't even started rolling out yet. And I read this week that some suppliers are doing 5G time slicing. So if you're your own little bit of 5G bandwidth for certain services, then it now seems to be possible to do so. So I'm presuming they'll pick on Notting Hill so that a saturated mobile network will at least have some reserved capacity for that system. We'll see how it goes. Last one this round then, it's Stephen, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, this is Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. Very good afternoon to all on the net. I know we're on a time constraint, so we'll keep this relatively short. First item, I'm now a member of RAFARS. So joined them at the beginning of the week. All the paperwork's gone through, and I'm now a RAFARS member. Just waiting for them to send me my membership number. And second item, rather advanced date for everybody's diary. Exercise Blue Ham we have on the 20th and 21st of June on the 60 metre band. So more than welcome to play along with that one. Over.
Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4 NRC returning. Okay, in reverse order. Exercise Blue Ham on the 21st will overlap nicely with the RAYNET HF team net on a day where we habitually do 60 metre operations. So we'll see what happens, whether times align for that, and you can tell me later whether it's 21st of June is a Saturday, Sunday or something, maybe more likely to have an overlap. And Rafar's, I'm sure he must be well moved on by now, but I used to work with somebody that I'm sure was Rafar's, other than his name was Fred, and he had a G call sign. Can't remember much more. Right, thanks for that, and thanks everybody for recognising with time constraints. So we shall go around now for any finals. Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, any more double synapses stirred? G8EY, G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC from G8EY. Just one thought on the shutting down of Longwave and going on to VHF is the naval use of having Radio 4 available for monitoring, if you know what I mean, from the service messages point of view. We shall see. The only thing I found when I was off on Wednesday night looking through emails, of course the 6 months download, or whatever it was, actually it was a lot more than that. Of course, every entry before the migration date is dated 27th of March 2026, so finding anything in a chronological way is an impossibility now. Oh well, that's life. Thanks for running the net, Greg. Look forward to hearing from you next week from G8EEY.
Wolf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 NRC returning. Okay, my conscience as work found out when I left extended back to having emails back to 2008. So I haven't actually knowingly looked back in my mail client to see how far back I go. On the phone it only shows me the last 50 emails in the inbox. But on the laptop it should show me everything. So I will have a look at that and see whether date stamps got altered, but they probably really shouldn't have done as part of the migration, so that feels like a new glitch. Okay, thanks Mike, 7-3 to you. Trevor for a final, G4KUJ, G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC, G4KUJ. Yep, fine everybody. Just some observations. Firstly, 21st of June is a Sunday. Coming back to the email and what has happened with Rob's 6 months worth, that is suspiciously the same as my 6 months worth that were paid, went into spam, because I reckoned it happened at the end of September, beginning of October, around about that sort of time, and I haven't lost any of the time and date information that Mike's just mentioned. So I don't know, not believing in coincidence. I think the only difference there may have been Bob's not used 365 and I have. Forwarding is working fine as far as I can tell, certainly from other Gmail accounts and from outside. I haven't seen anything like the news or anything else to check that so far. And Raven, I think you'll find, is very useful, Drew, because you can set up channels, which any number of channels, and each of those needs a password for users to be able to access it, so you've got an element of security there. And finally, should be around for the NTSD packed or sked tomorrow evening, Greg. G4NRC, thanks for running the net. This is G4KUJ.
Okay, UJ, G4NRC returning. Yeah, I've got so my group net is 2 meters sideband at 7:30 local, so hopefully we'll be long since clear before we get around to trying the 8:30 test for Pactor and the National Traffic System. Okay, thanks Trevor. Hopefully see you online tomorrow. Philip for a final. G4KIL, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KL. Yeah, no need to hold it. So I'll say 33. Thanks for on the net. So hopefully speak to you next week. So G4KL now clear. Back to you from G4KL.
G4NRC. Okay, thanks for that, Philip. Hopefully catch up with you soon. 1, 2, 3 stations to go. David, Golf 4 X-Ray Uniform Romeo, G4NRC, over.
G4X, you are returning the net. Yep. Okay, Greg. Yep. Thanks very much for running the net. The FAC information. Unusually, they were returned very quickly by Andy, DOR. So G1SOM is number 6818. I think it was the 25th of the 3rd it was issued. FAC, that is. And same day, M0KON 6819 FAC. And they were both closed on the 13th, which is a couple of days or so. We have had a pile up of other things, which meant Andy did it. But anyway, the next one's not for about almost 6 weeks, so we'll get that in within the next 4 weeks. Hopefully that's answered your question. If you need for me to NRC, this is G4XUR.
XUR, G4NRC returning. I know that's more than enough information for me to go and have some mischief. Thanks for that. I haven't seen any requests through and nobody had flagged them in the normal way. So I will just go back and revisit the database and find them and then just make sure people recall what the coordination routes are. Thanks, David. Not your problem. That's an internal admin one for the ETCC. Okay, 7-3 to you. Hopefully talk to you soon. Just a note, by the way, there were 2 dropouts on your last transmission for reasons I don't quite know. Drew, Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC M0MFS. Yeah, just to wind up the ESN story. If you look at the Emergency Services Times website, there is a webinar from 6 weeks ago, which has an IBM person and a BT person and I think an EE person. And very much as you said, it does feel as if they've gone back to the drawing board and are starting again on some bits of it. Anyway, thanks for running the net, and we'll catch you next week from M0MFS.
Sierra, G4NRC returning. Okay, I'm trying to one-handed type. When I saw the technology originally demanded for ESN and then realised we've gone up a whole G of mobile telephony, it did feel like it was going to be back to the drawing board, but I haven't actually done that. But okay, thanks for that. I might go back and look for that webinar. Anyway, thanks Drew, thanks for keeping it brief. Last one today, Stephen, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, this is Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. Yeah, it's a Saturday and Sunday for exercise Blue Ham. 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock on both days. And I'm away, you've got to get away for 16:45. So I will say 7-3 and hand it back to you until next week, over.
Victor Sierra Delta G4 NRC returning. Okay, well, it'll be 2 o'clock local time for the net on the 21st for the HF team. Probably on 5.2785. So just so you're aware. Okay, we shall bring it to a close. Thanks everybody for taking time out of your schedules to participate today and keeping the timing tight. Be careful, have a good week, and until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I'll close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net on talk groups 23531, Pheonix and Brandmeister, and 50233531 on the RAYNET-UK system, and return those talk groups to being an open net rather than a directed net. 730, this is Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie now closing, and reverting to my normal call sign of Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo, and also closing down. Bye bye.